Every Monday, we check in with Vail Mountain Rescue and learn about their latest missions. Dan Smith is here to tell us more. And Dan, well, a fairly quiet week, two missions for you.
Two missions and one relatively simple, one highly unnecessary. Let's talk about simple first.
Okay.
Simple was a family that was at Chuck's Hut up on Shrine Pass, which is one of the close-in huts. 4 members of that family group went skiing all day, which is what you're supposed to do. But they wound up in a valley west of there called Hanks Gulch. And it's not, the walls of the valley are not very high, a couple hundred feet. But when you're in there, if you get turned around, you don't know the way back. They got lost. They were very concerned because it was starting to get dark and cold and all that stuff. Called 911, exactly what they're supposed to do. We chatted with them. While this was going on, a couple of their buddies in the hut said, you know, I think I probably know where they are. Normally, we don't like to have this happen. People go get other friends to rescue them. It worked out this time. Skied over to them, picked them up, laid a track, skied back to the hut. Our guys meet them at the hut, medically check them out. Everything's fine. That was a typical, mission from huts. The unnecessary one, and this is the first slide bring up, was our favorite Cottonwood Pass. Cottonwood Pass is, in the summer, a nice back way, to Basalt. In winter, it is closed, as the sign on the gate says, and some kind person put another sign with it that says, stop, take home, you will not, stay home, you will not make it.
Oh,
and
wow.
you won't, because as the next slide shows, there's 5 cars sitting up there. We got a call from one,
wow.
the 3 folks in the gray car, dialed 911, called us, we went up and got them, and as we went up, we passed 4 other cars. Denote the blue truck,
Wow.
which were empty, fortunately. So those people had found their own way out. You can't make it over Cottonwood Pass in the
with
winter.
Glenwood Canyon being closed because of that rock slide,
Oh.
people are trying to find all sorts of ways to get to and from.
People that aren't familiar with the area will try it. But when you go through a large steel gate that says closed, and somebody's taken the time to write, you will not make it next to it, perhaps you should heed wiser folks that have been here before. This is our 3rd Cottonwood Pass mission this year. We seem to be living over there. At least this one we could get our trucks up there. But our trucks had to stop way down the hill, and we walked up to get the people out of the one we were getting. So it's an interesting place to have missions, and we'll pull the unnecessary ones. That's fine. We'd rather not, actually. We'd rather people think a little bit before they do something like trying to drive over Cottonwood Pass.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea right
Nope.
now. Okay. Well, Dan, it's amazing these different types of scenarios you guys get put in. So tell us, they call 911. You get dispatched by the sheriff's department.
Well, dispatch calls us. They call the coordinator and the deputy at the same time. The 2 get together and say, yeah, we're going, or no, we're not. And it's mostly determining, is this a real mission, or is this somebody that's a half hour late from a 5-day trip? Then we'll put a team in the field. The team can go in ski, snowshoes, snowmobile, or sometimes just cleats if it's on a trail. Find our subject, bring them out, evacuate them to a higher medical care if necessary, usually an ambulance at the trailhead. If they've been in the woods very long, we want a paramedic, check them out just to make sure there's not something we've missed. And then we turn them loose and go back to our gear cache and wash the trucks and put gas in the snow machines and another meal in your pack and get ready to do it again.
Yep.
And we always do it again.
Yeah, and what's interesting is there is no charge for the service.
There's no charge for this service, but as the Friends folks will tell you, it takes a certain amount of money to put these folks out in the field.
Okay.
There's some costs involved.
All right, we're going to check in with the Friends of Vail Mountain Rescue in our later interview this morning. But if you want to find out more about Vail Mountain Rescue, they're always looking for volunteers with skill sets that'll fit their needs. VailMountainRescue.org. Thanks, Dan, for coming in today.
Pleasure.
We've got more weather and the details on what's going to be happening with our forecast for today with Mark.